Welcome everyone to Growth School. I hope you're super prepared and super ready for the wisdom that will be shared tonight. We'll be up in a couple of seconds. Get set for the amazing wisdom that is yet to come to you. Awesome. Welcome everyone to Growth School. It's another phenomenal moment to learn and to be transformed on Growth School. So I hope you're super ready. Let me put up the topic. Yeah, so Life of Options Part 3. So we had part 1 2 weeks ago, we had part 2 last week, and today we are having part 3 of the life of options. The life of options. Hold on a sec. I want to share this to some platforms. Life of options. Life of options. Life of options. All right. All right. Interesting. Interesting. Control. All right. So awesome, everyone. So nice to have you on here tonight. Um, I hope you're super ready. I hope you're super ready. All right. So let's get right into it. So the life of options, and today we're looking at the topic habits for winning in the game of life. So habits for winning in the game of life. And this particular episode, this particular Growth School series, I want you to save it, make up your mind to listen to it over and over again because I'll be pointing out my heart and I'll be saying a lot of very important things which you may not get to hear anywhere else. Okay. And I'll be painting certain pictures that you will relate to, and I will tell you why they are really essential that you bear them to heart. Find a place where you can write them down, write part of your learnings, part of your lessons, part of the things that you can gain from, and also do well to go back to read them again and again and look for means to be able to adopt them to your life because this is very pivotal irrespective of where you are in the world, most especially if you are in Africa, in a place like Nigeria. This particular session is very important and you must never forget them for a very long time. If you seem to be a parent and you have the privilege to be able to teach these things to your children, or if they are awake to come listen to this episode, I would counsel that I would advise that you bring them close to your device or whatever means you're watching and listening through, and you have them sit to listen to this. Because for many of you, or for many of the people who are listening to me, it's really possible that you never had the privilege to see individuals, whether people in religious setting or those in the academic setting, or even in the families that you come from. You never had people who sat you down to paint certain picture to you and make you view the world from a very broad and deep perspective, but instead they always taught you about life based on situational perspective. So based on the situations that happen per time, they always taught you about life based on those things, but they never made you to see life from a broad perspective. And this is why you must listen to this very, very well. All right. So it's really, really amazing, and it has been an amazing time. I would advise that you do well to watch the first and the second sessions on the life of options. Okay, this is going to be, at least for now, this is going to be the last part of this series on life of options. Now, I'm going to make three very important comments before I move on, and I would want you to really pay attention to them. Number one thing you need to understand is that life is like a game. All right? Life is like a game. And in every game, we have players. In every game, we have the stakeholders. And in every game, we have the spectators. Okay? So in every game, we have players, we have the spectators, and we have the key stakeholders. So life is like a game. And you are either playing the game or you are being used to play the game. Okay, you are either playing the game or you are being used to play the game. It's very, very important that you begin to find out and look at critical things that have happened in life, whether you have been a major player in the circumstances that play, whether in your life, whether in your nation, whether in the economy, whether in the situation you're going through. It's either you are being used to play the game, you are part of the elements used to play the game, or you are a player in that game, or you're a player in that game. And I will explain very, very quickly. Now, you must understand that for every game, let's take sport for example, let's take football for example, or basketball, or volleyball, or whether any game at all that brings reward at any time, there are always people who control the game and there are people who play the game. So there are people who control the game, who initiate the rules, who initiate the regulations, or there are people who play the game. And it's very important to know where you are in every aspect of that game of life. You must know exactly where you are. You must know where you belong to, and you must decide quickly where you should be in the game of life. You must decide where you should be in the game of life. In every game, there are controls. There are people who control what happens in that game. There are people who decide the rules and regulations. There are people who are put in place in order to ensure that even though the people who make the rules are not seen, they must ensure that the rules are kept. Okay? And you must understand what agenda you are part of, so that at the end of the day, you don't live your life for a long period of time and wonder if they were profitable to you or they were impactful to you. And this is something you must understand, that in every game, the players don't have any choice than to obey the rules that are played. They don't have any choice than to obey the rules that are played. And everything that happens in life is based on agenda. Everything happening in life, everything happening, whether you're seeing what's happening in your nation, happening in your industry, happening in business, everything you see around is based on an agenda. Now, I shared this on my WhatsApp status before this session started. Some moment before this session started. If you are conversant with Exodus, all right, you know there's a book in the Bible called the Book of Exodus. There was a time when, there was a time when Jacob gave birth to a lot of children. It was in the land of Canaan, and he gave birth to a lot of children. And there was the 11th born, whose name was Joseph. Okay, after Joseph, he had 12 sons, and he had, I think, a daughter called Diana, maybe one or two, but he had 12 sons. The 11th born was Joseph, who was the son of Rachel, and then his last born was Benjamin. And Joseph happened to be one who had a dream and vision in the early part of his life. So Joseph had a dream, he had a vision, he had aspiration, he wanted to accomplish so much in his life, he wanted to do so much, and he was in a dream that was going to be a leader, he was going to be a ruler, he was going to become something great because of the signals he had through dreams. And out of a very good heart, and because he was not so aware of certain things at that particular age of his life, he didn't have a mentor, a coach that could tell him that there were certain things you never made known openly. So he told his brother, they envied him, and certain event played, they sold him. You understand? They put him in a pit. They decided what they were going to do. Eventually, they sold him to the merchants who were going to Egypt. And those merchants, they bought him and sold him to one of the soldiers, one of the military rulers and authorities in Egypt, and he became a servant to Pharaoh. All right, he became a servant to Pharaoh. Okay, and a lot of things happened. I know you know the story, so I will skip a lot of part in that story. And eventually, certain things happened. He became the ruler in Potiphar's house, and then the wife of Potiphar liked him, lied against him that he wanted to rape her. And then Joseph went to the prison. After when Joseph went to the prison, he met certain people who were working for Pharaoh. Pharaoh was like the president, let's say the president of Egypt. And, you know, the baker, the wine presser, they offended Pharaoh, and Pharaoh sent them to the same prison where Joseph was. And these two guys had different dreams. One had a dream that, oh, something came, the bed came pegged on what he had. The other one found out that, oh, something happened, he was restored. And Joseph interpreted the dream. Eventually, fast forward, Pharaoh had a dream, needed someone to interpret it. No other person amidst the advisors, counselors, senators, House of Rep member could interpret the dream to Pharaoh. And then the baker remembered Joseph and said, oh, I remember my fault. There is this man that seemed when I was there, I had a dream, and the wine presser had a dream, and this. I interpreted that dream, and exactly what he said came to pass. And then they had to bring Joseph out of the prison. They shaved his head, they made him dress really nice, and he came before he came before Pharaoh, interpreted the dream. And after interpreting the dream, Pharaoh had to restore him back. All right, Pharaoh had to, you know, certain negotiation took place and say, oh, look for a man that would do this. And they could not find anyone, and they made him the prime minister. So he became the vice president to Pharaoh. And things happened and happened and happened, and there was famine in everywhere in the world except in Egypt. So in Egypt, they had a lot of food that was stored, and his brothers, his fathers, they now heard that there was food in Egypt. And because of the famine, they had to go to Egypt to look for food, and different things happened. They reunited together and they started living. So every one of them migrated to Egypt. While they were in Egypt, they gave them a particular land in the land of Goshen. And in that land, they were giving birth, they were growing, they were advancing, and then the population grew. And then the Pharaoh who knew Joseph died, and all the Pharaohs who came after who knew Joseph died. And the Bible says in that story that there was now a Pharaoh who rose up who did not know Joseph. He didn't even want to know the good that Joseph did, all the amazing things he did. And they now discovered that the children of Israel, okay, all of those tribes who relocated to Egypt, they were increasing, they were growing, they were becoming more and more. You know, they even tried to the point that, oh, their male child killed them, but the midwives spared those children, and they were growing and growing and growing. And the king felt intimidated that if these people continue to grow, and if an enemy came to invade our land, they could connive with our enemies, and then they would conquer us. And he now thought of a ploy, thought of a strategy, he thought of a structure that could make the children of Israel remain in bondage. Are you getting the story? He thought of that and said, okay, so this is what we are going to do. We are going to turn them into slaves and use their increasing number to begin to build our empire. Use their increasing number to begin to build structures for us, to begin to build monuments for us. Okay, because they had the number, let's allow them to begin to build structures, monuments, buildings here and there. All we're going to do is that we are going to appoint tax masters. Those tax masters, their role was that they ensured that these children of Israel, they were the one who were doing the work. So they would make sure they provided the bricks, they provided the cement, they provided everything, and make them just keep doing the work. So it was a strategy. The children of Israel felt they were laboring, okay, they were giving them food in exchange, they were getting all of that, but they didn't know that they were selling their freedom in exchange for those things. They were selling their freedom. So they could not decide. Their thinking was not structured on how to get back their freedom. Their thinking was brought into building monuments and making them find sufficiency in their slavery. That's what I'm saying, that everything in life is a game, is a strategy. There are people who control the game, and there are people put in place to control the game. You would find out that the tax masters that were told to even make the children of Israel do those menial works, even they were not aware of what was going on. They were not in the meeting where that decision was made, yet they were victims of those decisions. And this is why you must understand that building the life of option is critical. And you must understand there's something called summum bonum, all right, which is called the highest good. You must find out your summum bonum as you continue to live in life. It's not enough to wake up on a daily basis, complain about what's going on in your nation, going on in the economy, going on in the industry, going on in the business. You must find your highest good. What's that thing that should be your own agenda, that should be your own choice, that should be your own drive as you are moving on, so that you don't become a victim of the game. So you don't become the victim of the game. All right, so they just finished AFCON, that's African Cup of Nations, where you have African countries who qualify to play in CAF. Do you know the game of football? I'm going to use the game of football, for example, and we're going to try to relate it to a lot of things that happened in life. In the game of football, you have the federation. English Premier League, they have the FA, the federation, the authority. They have the federation. The federation are those who decide the rules, who decide that this is how the game should be played, who decide how they buy players, who decide the number of players that should be allowed to go for a match, who decide certain rules. They are the ones that say, okay, VAR, let's initiate it. We can go ahead with it. If the federation decides that one rule is removed and one rule is replaced, that's exactly what happens. The players don't have a choice. The coaches don't have a choice. The owners of the club don't have a choice. Even the people, as long as they want to play in that game, they don't have a choice. The same way in the life that we are in, we have the federations. There are people who control the game, who make the rule, and they ensure that you don't have any choice than to follow that rule. Why do you think there are certain people in your nation or certain people in the world who are wealthy and they put their stake in every aspect of human life so that you don't have any choice? So irrespective of what you choose to buy here or whether you don't like this or don't like the other one, you are still paying the same person. Life is a game. I'm telling you the truth. Life is a game. In any industry, think about it. There are federations who decide. In the academic, in the educational sector, there are those who decide. In the technology sector, there are those who make the rules. In the financial sector, there are those who make the rules. So we have the federation. Now, secondly, if you look at the Serie A or maybe the La Liga or the Bundesliga or the League One or the Premiership, we have people who are the club owners. Okay, so the club owners are those that have decided that, oh, now we understand the rule. We are willing to put our investment to creating the people who would play in the game. All right. So they have the money, they understand the rules, they have the money, and they are willing to invest their money to get the team or to get the individuals or to get the elements who would play in the game. Because if there are no club, the things that the federation or the authority they put in place will not work, and even they will not prosper in it. So they need certain people who have the money to get the people who play in the game. And that's what happens in certain industry. For example, there are people who sponsor the elections. Sometimes the candidate is not the one who funds the election. Sometimes the employee, the people who are employed, let me take the banking sector, for example, the people who are employed, or those who are called the board members, those who make decisions, someone bought that particular bank or bought that particular entity in order to make them board members, in order to get certain employees. So there are those who fund the game. There are those who make the rules, there are those who fund the game, the club owners. Number three, we have the coaching team. Coaching team, for example, the managers. For example, for certain people, you remember, you have people in authority, you have the senators, you have the governors, you have the chairmen of the local government. Those ones, they are just the coaching team. They are just the coaching team. They don't make the rules. The rules are there. They are put there to follow it. Are you getting me? I'm going somewhere. So we have the federation, we have the club owners, we have the coaching team, we have the players. Now we have the players. So we have the main people who carry out those things. For example, there are many things going on that you believe that the people who are carrying out certain things are the ones who are in charge. No, they are controlled. They are controlled. Why? Because they need to coordinate, they need to play in the game in order to bring profit to the club owners. Have you ever found out that for every circumstance and situations that happen in the nation, there are people who are making a lot of money from it? Don't stop looking at the fact that, oh, people are complaining, things are going on, oh, people are talking about this, they're talking about that, they are speaking about inflation, they are doing all of those things. Do you know that in all of it, there are people who are actually building wealth? There are people who are actually building wealth. So life is like a game. They are the players. Now, we also have the referees. Those are those who enforce the rules, who ensure that you follow the rules. So they can serve you yellow card, they can serve you red card, and that's why you have the police. So the police, the military, the federal road safety, all of those people, they are the referees who ensure that the rules that are given by the federation seem to be obeyed, whether you like it or not. You, the players, don't decide the rules. The federation decides the rules. The referees ensure that the rules are obeyed. Then we also have the media. We also have the media. How do you think the English Premiership blew up? They invested in the media. How do you think Serie A blew up? They invested in the media. Why? Because they need to give something to the spectators. They know there are people who will not be physically there, who will be spectators. So they needed to provide a channel through which those people are going to view. Why? Because if the channels are not available, they would not make money. You can see how people begin to make lots of money. For example, during the election, a lot of people opened Facebook pages. Okay, and every time they are talking about the election, they're striping what is said in maybe TVC News, striping what is said in Arise TV, striping what is said in Channels TV, and they will come and talk and be saying a lot of things. And you think they are only feeding you information? They are building a strategy to also make money from your attention. This is why attention is powerful, and I'm telling you, life is a game. Why? Because DSTV, Super Sport will not make money if they don't view matches. If all they are doing is showing something else and not the matches between Chelsea and Arsenal, or they are showing the match between Djokovic and Nadal, or they are doing all of those things, they will not make money. Why? Because they will not get eyeballs, and they will keep losing money if they don't make the media assets available. And this is why you must understand that before you get carried away by the things that are said and you begin to feed your eyeballs and begin to view on those things, they want to bring you back again and again and again and again. You must know they are making money off you. Life is like a game, I'm telling you. So when something happens and someone begins to view it, and you begin to look at the number of things, and you're looking and looking and looking, and then they are feeding you with a lot of those things, you should understand that they are also part of the game. Because if those things are not available, you would not see any of those things as really crucial. You can see how everything is simply a game. Everything is a game. Remember the stories that were shared when campaigns were going on. This one is saying this against this, saying this against this. If there were no channel broadcasting it, do you know that they would not have been that relevant? You would never have created a lot of arguments. You would never have been able to do all of those things. But because certain people play the game, the media, that's why prominence came, and a lot of people started feeding their attention and arguing. You see why it's not always wise sometimes when someone posts something and you go and you begin to fight in the comment section. You don't understand what is happening. They made the media available so that those things will become very important. So I've talked about the federation. I know as I'm saying this, and some of you are already connecting the knot. You are looking at your nation and say, oh, so this is the federation. So this is the coaching team. Oh, this is the players. Oh, these are the referees. You're already connecting it. Life is just like a game. Everything happening now, connect it as a game and begin to say, oh, this is where, and you'll begin to find out where exactly do you fit in. We have the media, we have the advertisers. We have the advertisers. We have the advertisers. Through those channels, every time, remember, you pick something, you watch something on Facebook, they bring in one ad, you stay there to watch the ad. The person who made that media information, that information available on media, is getting money from you. Why? Because the advertisers are leveraging on the momentum of attention. The momentum of attention. They are making a lot of money from it. So in each game, you will see on the jersey that the players wear, you will see maybe 3, you will see maybe Infinite Athletic, you will see Fly Emirates, you would see, what are their names? You know them. Tell me in the comment section. All those things they put. Those are advertisers. They would not use the platform of the games. They would not use the platform provided through the games to advertise their products if there were no games. Are you seeing that? If there were no games. Do you remember? Let me tell you. Let me add this to it. Recently, I think for a period of time before the weather changed, there was a lot of it. Like the temperature was so high, and it was really difficult for those who didn't have things like air conditioning in their houses and consistent electricity. And you will just find out that at that season, you would see a lot of, by the time you check your WhatsApp status, you will see different people. What they were just marketing were standing fans, or the mobile fans that people go. They were just marketing fan. And the price of fan went up. Why? Because there was a game in place and people needed to leverage the game in order to get certain revenue for themselves. Certain revenue. You'll see maybe a fan that was sold for, I think, 35,000. You just hear, oh, it's now 60,000. It's now 40,000. Why? Because everyone is leveraging on the game. Everyone is leveraging on the game. I read recently there is this Super Bowl game. Okay, there is this Super Bowl game. I think it's a basketball competition that happens. And they told how a lot of musicians in the US make lots of money, even though from the game they get peanuts. But they leverage on the attention of people. They market their shows, they market their products, and there are people who advertise within that particular game for maybe a short period of time. Why? Because they needed to leverage the attention. They are advertisers in these things. Right now, you'll find out that with the things happening, there are certain maybe political parties that are marketing themselves and saying, oh, they are the solution. If you are the one that gave them this is this. A lot of things are just happening. A lot of things are happening. So you must understand that life is just like a game. It's just like a game. Everything seems to be strategized and put in place. The question is, are you a key stakeholder in the game, or you are only a victim of the game? Are you a key stakeholder, or you're only a victim of the game? All right, so we have the advertisers, we have other people in the game like the ball boys, and all of that. Thank you so much, Olabanji James. Oh, awesome. You said that to Spotify. All right, interesting. All right. Then there are other people in the game also. We have the viewers. Listen, the only reason why the players, the club make lots of money is because of the spectators, the viewers. Oh, it's one dangerous state to be in. And if you see the viewers, you hardly see a viewer who makes money from the game. You hardly see a viewer who becomes wealthy from just watching the game. Most of the viewers, they pay their attention, they pay their money. Sometimes you see some of them pay their attention. Oh, they shout, when their players go, and they shout, go, and they do all of this. But how much does that shouting or that this thing, how much does it bring to their pocket? And do you know that that's the state a lot of people are in life? That's the stage a lot of people are in life. They are watching everything going on, complaining about everything, just watching and watching and watching, and they view and spectate without innovating at any time. All the players and spectators, they can shout and do everything, but they never contribute meaningfully to the game. So the question is, who are you in this game of life? Who are you in this game of life? Number one, you must understand that everything that goes on in life is like a game. Is like a game. Like a game, whether you want to use the game of chess, you want to use this game of drafts, everything in life is like a game. And in every game, there are winners and there are losers. In every game, there are winners and there are losers. Now, number two thing that I want you to take note is, for every situation that happens in life, that happens in a nation, or that happens in an industry, there are always winners and there are losers. I'll paint a clear picture to you. If you're in Nigeria, you'll be able to relate to it. In every situation that happens in life, in every industry, in every nation, in every economy, there are always winners and there are losers. How many of you remembered when some years ago, when there was this change of currency, all right? When, the CBN decided that they wanted to change currency. They wanted to change currency. That's the 200, 500, and 1,000 naira note. How many of you remember that instance? If you remember, let me see you type in the comment section. Just tell me, remember. Just type remember. Let me see. Type remember. If you remember that instance, when there was this currency change, like they wanted to change the notes. All right, interesting. Now, if you remember that particular instance, you would find out that they were the regulators, the CBN, they were the enforcers, the banks, the people, and all of that. You will find out at that instance there were certain people who decided to take advantage of that moment. It was a very selfish advantage, though, of that moment. When you visit the POS at that time, the currency that you got, let's say, for example, wow, interesting. I'm seeing my people here. Thank you so much. Thanks so much, Elda. Sharon, nice to see you. How are you doing? All right, interesting. You remember. Now, the POS center you would normally go to, who would charge you 100 naira for 5,000 naira. At this time, when the currency exchange happened, people were complaining, there's no currency. You go there, and the person will tell you, okay, 5,000 and 1,000. What happened? Is it not still the same currency? What has happened? They decided that they wanted to just leverage. And the thing that was not clear to them is they were simply victims of an agenda. So everything was calculated. The regulators calculated and knew that by the time we made these people bring every of their old notes, we will then begin to take out the new notes little by little and make it really difficult. And the people who were the POS people also, they became victim of that situation, and they decided they wanted to trade. All right, they wanted to trade higher. And that did not mean that by trading higher, they will be able to get the new note eventually. So you can see how the game worked. Thank you so much. Thank you, Olaba and G. James. Interesting. You can see how the game works. Okay, so they just decided that they wanted to leverage on the situation, and they did all of that. Now, why a lot of people suffered, there were some people who also won in that game. There were some people who won in that game. There were some people who won. There's some people who won in that game. That's the change of the currency. I'm going to paint another example. Some of you right now, you are looking at the inflation, okay, increase of price in a lot of things, dollar exchange and all of that, and you're looking at it and doing all of those things. Do you know that despite all of those things, there are some people who are not complaining? Do you know there are some people who are not complaining? There are some people who are not complaining. Why? Because every crisis seems to be an advantage to them. Every crisis seems to be an advantage to them. So they strategize and picture that there will be a crisis in this instance, and they prepare ahead and ensure that by the time the crisis hits, they still gain, like they still win. They still win. And that's why you find out that the wealthiest people, in the world, they try to position their investment in places where they know that there's a possibility of an increase, and then their return on investment is higher at that instance of crisis. And that's what happened in Egypt. Just like the story I began with, that's what happened in Egypt. So Egypt were the only one who got an interpretation of what was going to happen. And while they got that interpretation, they built storehouses, and they were saving a lot of their food. They were saving the excess of the food. In the 7 years of increase, they were just saving. Okay, they were eating little, they were saving and putting there and putting there and putting there. And they decided to invest their money into agriculture. And while agriculture grew, they started investing the excess. All right. Now, the world after 7 years got to a point whereby there was no nation that could survive. Why? Because there was no food. They didn't have food to eat. All they needed to do was now they needed to exchange the money they kept to go buy food in Egypt, and Egypt was taking their money and giving to them food. And it was any amount that Egypt sold to them that they were going to buy. It was any amount. You can see how it's like a game. So they were playing a kind of game, a kind of game, a kind of game. If Egypt told them that a Congo of rice, a Congo of rice was 10,000, they didn't have a choice. So they had money, but they didn't have food. So all they needed to do was to buy and give that money to them. And this is why, as an individual, wherever you are or in whatsoever you decide to do, you must be futuristic about what will people buy, that they would have money, but irrespective of the money they have no choice than to buy these things. Do you have a means through which you can store them up? All right, so let me leave that. Okay, so for every situation that happens in any economy at any time, there are always winners and there are losers. There are winners and there are losers. There are winners and there are losers. And you must strategize a means through which you can win in the game of life. Now, thirdly, before I go into the habits, number 3, I've spoken about different aspects: the stakeholders, the club owners, the coaching team, the players, the referee, the spectators, the viewers. You must understand that for wherever you are in the game of life, you must take responsibility for it. You must take responsibility for it. You must take responsibility for it. Listen. For wherever you are, if you are not in the position where you can control what goes on, where can you transition to in every aspect of that game of life that will still make you win? That will still make you win. Where can you transition and position in every aspect of life, in each of the game of life, that will still make you win? You can start as a spectator, but you don't have to remain as a spectator. You need to transition into something that makes you win. Now, the habits for winning. Number 1, diligence in elevating your mindset. If you want to be a winner consistently in the game of life, you must be diligent in elevating your mindset. If for certain reasons you were not born in an advantaged state, maybe in a wealthy home or in by politicians or by people of power or from a royal family, you must start by working on your mindset. Winning the game of life is not going to be by fighting. Sometimes it's not all about demonstrations here and there. You need to sit down and think and look at your state of mind, whether your state of mind is what keeps you in the losing state in everything that happens in life, in every circumstances of life. Look at your mindset. What exactly do you know? What has judged and coordinated your mindset over time? You need an elevated mindset and you need to grow into it. If you must leave a position of a loser and then get to the point of being a winner, you need to elevate your mindset. You need to work on your mindset. You need to find out and you begin to check out for what's the reason why I have always complained and criticized things that happen every time. What's the reason why I joined the clique of people to talk about the downtime of the economy? I comment and say a lot of things, but none of these comments ever bring money to my pocket. None of these things ever bring great opportunities to me. None of these things ever change my life. You need to start working on your mindset. And the truth is, you may not be aware of what that mindset is doing to you until you start growing up to be 40, 45, 50, and you realize that for a very long time, you remain the victim of the game. For a very long time, you just find out you remain a victim of the game. So diligence in elevating your mindset. That's one habit you need to have. So on a daily basis, you are asking yourself, where am I in the game of life? Where am I in the game of life? What new thinking do I need to imbibe in order to be a winner in this game of life? So you are elevating your mindset. You're saying, I've always sat down, I view everything that comes on Facebook all the time. When exactly am I going to be a winner in this game? Why do I let people trade my attention in order to get revenue in return when I get nothing? Okay, why do I always work for so much? I work for so much and exchange my money. I spend a lot all the time with my money, but I never have the privilege to be able to get something in based on something I choose to create. Life is a game. Life is a game. You need an elevated mindset. You must not think like the masses. Why? Because why do you think why do you think the players, the 22 players on the field, seem to be the central focus of the thousands of people on that field? That's always because majority seems to build comfort by being spectators in life. You know, there's a lot of comfort being a spectator. As a spectator, you don't need to wake up every day and then you eat the gym and then you try to keep fit and then you practice a lot of free kick, you practice a lot of penalty, you practice a lot of passes, you practice a lot of moves, you try to practice a lot of dribble. The thousands don't want to go through that effort because they have built a comfort by being what? By being viewers, by being spectators. Let me ask you again. Are you are you comfortable in being a viewer in the game of life? If you go to the tennis court where maybe Djokovic and Federer seems to be playing a tennis match, you have thousands of people who watch them, whether virtually or physically. Why? Those thousands of people don't need to put the effort to do the work. They don't need to practice. They don't need to learn tactics. They don't need to do it again and again. They don't need coaches. Why? Because it's easy to build a comfort as a spectator. But you need lots of work to be the player that will be viewed and celebrated. So you need an elevated mindset to begin to picture. Are you being too comfortable as a viewer? Are you being too comfortable as a spectator? Do you need to rewire your mindset to think differently about life and not see life as just a wish? There is no one who wishes to be great who achieves it. Everyone strategically positions to become great and accomplish something in their lifetime. All right, so you need to view the world from a broad view and you need to start thinking long term. You need to think the world from a broad view and you need to start thinking long term. And then you need to start thinking. If you must win in the game of life, you need long-term thinking. Long-term thinking. And then you must also avoid unprofitable wishes. Oh, I wish things would change. I wish things would be better. I wish one day this person would do this. I wish one day I will become this and this. I wish one day someone would just see me and do this. You know, some of the things so some of the things people watch online and they feel like, they met that man and then they just gave him this money. They met that man. Somebody just met, and he said, let me just meet somebody that will just give me money. No, sometimes you have to be responsible. You have to take responsibility for where you decide to be. All right. You have to take responsibility for where you decide to be. All right, welcome back. All right, so number one, the happy habits that is very essential. I said that you have to be diligent in elevating your mindset. Okay, so it takes a mindset to move from a loser in the game of life to becoming a winner. And this will not come by unprofitable wishes. You don't say, oh, I wish things would change. I wish this person would be there. I wish my brother, uncle, sister, brother, nephew would become this. And when that happens, I'll be this. You need to take responsibility for where you are in the game of life. Okay. Now, number two, this is very important. Very, very important. If you have been at a point whereby maybe you made lots of money, or maybe you got someone who always gave you money, whether when you were in secondary school at a point in your life, and you had a friend who just came to you, or somebody told you about one great investment. I'm not going to mention him. Told you about one good investment, and say, this investment will make it. Just put your money after 1 month. You should just become times 5. And you're like, is that real? Or they say, put your money here. You have the privilege to make 1 million with 50,000. Just put it there. Get this product. It's not that easy. Get to people, and then you put your money there. And time, they were promising it's looking like it's going to go, and something just happened, and everything just. You're like, where did my money go to? And right now, because of that experience, you are now very scared of anything called investments, anything called stock, anything called, just when people want to bring, things that will give you are now so scared because you failed once. Because you failed once. And I'm going to branch some other aspects, like, people who maybe at a time you were in a relationship and you felt, oh, this was going to turn out good. It's looking nice. The guy is there, everything seems to work out, we are going to make it together, and something happened. Maybe the guy or the lady just did this, and you just made up your mind and say all ladies are the same, you say all guys are the same. Yeah, it's no guy that can be trusted. And that's the reason why for years you have decided to maintain the same relationship status, even if you have met amazing people that would have been great soulmates to you. Because of one failure, you allowed yourself to become fearful to try again. You allowed yourself to become fearful to try again. And my number two is you have to rethink fear and failure. Rethinking fear and failure, you have to rethink. You have to think again, what exactly is fear? What exactly is failure? And one thing you must understand about failure, and if you're someone who is very, very fearful, like you're very scared of failing, one book I want you to read is a book by John C. Maxwell. It's titled Failing Forward. It's titled Failing Forward. And I want you to understand that if you must win, you are going to likely fail many times. If you must win in the game of life, you are likely to fail many times. You are likely to fail maybe in maybe financial investment. You're likely to fail maybe in relationship. You're likely to fail maybe in some decisions. You're likely to fail maybe in business. You don't dominate an industry if you have not at least failed once. If you must dominate an industry, you must have experienced failure at certain points. All right. So every failure is an opportunity for success. And the only way you can gain experience to be better at anything is when you have failed at it. The only way you'll be better at anything and you will build a lot of experience to do well at anything in your life is when you have failed at it. Is when you have failed at it. So every failure is an opportunity for success. Every failure is an opportunity for success. If you have not failed, you would not have built a measure of tacit knowledge that will help you do better. So tacit is like experiential knowledge, or the knowledge that makes you do something better the next time it comes again. Okay? So you don't build deep experiences if you have not failed. So you must understand failure. The game of life requires that you rise up when you fail, you try again, and then you do it better the next time you try again. Okay, so many people don't win because they are afraid of failing. This fear of, oh, I'm scared. I hope he's not going to fail. I hope it's this. I hope this will not be. I hope that will not be. Will just keep you at one position in life. You must be willing to try again and again. You must be willing to try again and again. Maybe I should share this story. There were times I was given like platforms to speak at certain places, and I got there. It just looked like, wow. Even me, after listening to the things I said, I felt, oh my God, guy, you need to upgrade yourself. It didn't look like I did it well. There were times I would listen to myself and feel like, oh my God, guys. Oh, guy, you're too local in the way you said this thing. You needed to put some tushness. You needed to say it in certain way. You needed to have painted this picture. You needed to have told that story this way. You keep improving. You get better, you get better, you get better. If you have not failed at something, you will not be good. You will not be a master at it. The people you call masters are those who have failed many times. They have failed many times than a beginner who is willing to try. Oh my God. So you see those you call masters, this person has built mastery. They built mastery with a lot of failures in their life. So if you must build competence, if you must have a life of options through winning in the game of life, you need to rethink failure and fear. There was this time, Champions League final. I think the Champions League final was between, I think it was Liverpool and Real Madrid. I'm not sure now. I think it was between Liverpool and Real Madrid. And Liverpool got to the final after doing a lot of work. They played so well from group stage up to the semi-final. They got to the final and they lost. And they lost. They lost, after putting a lot of work and doing all of those things. You know what they did? They went back the following year, bought one or two players, sold some players, re-strategized the formation. The following season, Liverpool won the Champions League. Imagine if after they lost that final, they were like, hey, we lost final, and then they just gave up and said Champions League is not for them. No, the following season, they won the Champions League. That's how to rethink failure. How to rethink failure. Never see failure as final. See it as a strategy to try again and win. If you have made certain errors, certain mistakes, maybe in financial investment and you're scared, just try again. What did you not do well? Did you put your money in the wrong place? Did you re-strategize in the wrong place? Or maybe you got a lot of money at a time and after a short period of time, everything just went fiam. And you were like, I just made money. I made 6 figures. How come everything went like this? You just think again, oh, maybe I should have saved first before spending. Maybe I should have taken my money into something that would grow and then spend a little more, or invested part of the money into what brought the money again. Every time you fail, it's only a privilege to learn again. All right. So very, very important. Very, very important. When you see success, every time you see those who have succeeded, who have won in this game of life, always try to read, always try to study where they failed so you don't succeed and get discouraged by failure. Okay, so number one, diligence in elevating your mindset. Number two, rethinking fear and failure. Number three, if you want to win in this life, let me tell you the truth. Don't joke with money. All right? You will need money. You will need money. Let no one lie to you. Let no one lie to you. Winning the game of life is not going to be free. You will need to build financial structures that would make you remain there in the winning state as you go on. Okay. And the first investment you have to make, so I'm talking about number three, strategic investment. The first investment you have to make is an investment in yourself. Investment in yourself, in your mind, in skills, in strategic relationships. You need to invest in yourself. You need to invest in yourself. You need to invest in yourself. Invest in your appearance, invest in the way you speak, invest in the way you write, invest in the way you communicate, invest in the way you relate, invest in the way you do certain things. You need strategic investment. Winning in life. Look at every prime minister, president, every leader in your nation. Go and just learn a little of their background story and know how they got there. There was none of them who got there by chance. There were some of them who needed to go to school abroad. Some of them needed to go to school of governance, school of leadership. Some of them needed to invest in themselves to be able to gain entry into certain circles. Part of investment. In this game of life, you would not change position by remaining at the level of your thinking. So you need to invest in yourself. Number two, you need to invest in the lives of people. I was thinking about it today when I was talking. Oh, sorry, when I was just reminiscing about the session today. That why do you think the wealthiest people in the world, they always have a foundation, or they have a foundation they put part of their money in? It's part of the game. It's part of the game. The wealthiest people in life, the wealthiest people in any part of the world, they always have a foundation, or they have a foundation they always put part of their money in. It's part of the game. Why? Because they understand how to leverage on the game of inequality. They know how to leverage on the game of inequality. Okay? Why? Because When they choose not to do that, they understand that the people on the other side of the divide, they are likely to come for them. But the moment they give to charitable cause, they keep doing this, they seem to preserve themselves in the state they are in the game of life. Have you thought about it? There is no wealthy man who does not have a foundation or who does not put part of his money into certain foundations. You must be willing to invest in people. It's part of the game. All right. You invest in people, whether it's investing in your skill, whether it's having a community where you pour out yourself, you share opportunities, you share knowledge, you share wisdom, because there may be a return to the good you do to people all the time. There may be a return. There will be a return eventually to the good you do to people all the time. The first investment, strategic investment, if you must win the game of life, is you invest in yourself. Number two, you invest in the lives of people. You invest in the lives of people. There are people who have entered into unassuming heights, who have entered into unassuming levels, who have gotten into strategic places in their lives through the good they did to people. Why do you think a lot of organizations have CSR? There's something called corporate social responsibility. Why do you think they have CSR? CSR is like contributions they make to their immediate community where they operate. For some of them, they give to security. For some of them, they give to education. Some of them give to health. It's always because they need to keep doing that so they could maintain their stand in the game of life. So you invest in people. Then, number three strategic investment you need to make is you need to invest your money into tangible and intangible wealth. You need to exchange your money for tangible and intangible wealth. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just saying that if you must learn this thing, one habit you need to build is to have financial knowledge. I mean, real strategic financial knowledge, not those people who are just trying to make money off you. They are saying, come and register for this, get to people, and then you will do this, or they tell you to enroll and push you to work for them. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Get true financial advisors who will teach you based on your level of level of earning. All right, who will teach you based on your level of earning what to do with your money, so that as you grow older, you don't need to work as much as you're working right now. You need to learn those things. Very, very important. Very, very important. You need to get financial advisors who will teach you where to put your money based on your level of earning. Very important. If you must win this game of life, don't joke with money. Don't, don't joke with money. You must build a mentality of knowing how to handle money. I'm so delighted. I'm grateful. I appreciate God that I have access to mentors. All right, mentors who can tell me this way, show me the realities of life. Those who have results that can guide me through it. I think you need to get them. Get financial mentors. I know some of you, you have the mentors that will challenge you. You can do it. Go there, do this. There's a place for those kinds of mentors. You also need financial mentors. You need, as a student, you need financial, whether you're a student or not, you need financial mentors. Those who can give you accurate counsel on how to handle your finances. I think it was yesterday I was speaking to one of my students, because they're in a private school, private university, and every time they did something, their parents have to send and all of that. I was speaking to her on certain things that has to do with money and how to plan ahead, how to think long term along all of those things. You need to learn financial wisdom. One wisdom you must have, if you don't want to be a victim and you don't want to lose in the game of life, is how to play the financial game and how to play to win. How to play to win. I was listening to something by Dr. Sam Adeyemi recently on strategies about wealth. Let me see. I think I wrote it down somewhere. And he said he got this information from Robert Allen. Okay, just listen. You may choose to use it. You may choose not to use it. I just wrote it down and I felt it's a very fantastic idea. that 50% of your investment must go into something that can give you 20% per annum interest. 50% of your investment should go into something that can give you 20% per annum in interest, and 30% of your investment should go into something that can give you 50% per annum interest. I'll say that again. First one, 50% of investment into 20% per annum interest, 30% of investment into 50% per annum interest, and 20% of investment into 100% per annum interest. Very amazing strategy. He said a lot of things. I don't know. I just stumbled on it and listened yesterday, and it was really amazing. I don't know if I can access that video now. It's something about, maybe if you search on YouTube, something about how to invest your money by Reverend Sam Adeyemi or Dr. Sam Adeyemi. Very amazing. Very, very fantastic knowledge. Okay. You invest 50%, you put 50% of your investment into something that will give you 20% per annum interest, 30% into something that will give you 50% per annum interest, and 20% into something that will give you 100% per annum interest. Okay, so you need to build financial wisdom. So invest in yourself, invest in the lives of others, invest your money into tangible assets, get counsel from financial advisor. I'm not one. And then invest into associations. Invest into strategic associations. I mean, those associations where you can get lots of valuable information, where you can build key connections, where you can, associations, people that can help you get opportunity. You invest into such association. And for financial investment, I think there are two books I would recommend. One of them, I had to bring this here, The Psychology of Money. The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Another one is The Secret of the Millionaire Mind. I think it's by, let me see. I think I'm going to check. Secret of the Millionaire Mind. Millionaire Mind. Yeah, by T. Harv Eker. That's Harveker. I read that book. Wow, that book transformed my financial thinking. Okay, Secret of the Millionaire Mind. I recommend those two books. Okay, there are more you could still get, but these are two books that I have read and they transformed my financial thinking. Secret of the Millionaire Mind and The Psychology of Money. You can get those two books and you can read them. Okay. So number 4, exposures. Exposures. Winning the game of life will require very deliberate, positive, progressive, and profitable exposure. I know why I had to put every of those adjectives. Deliberate, positive, profitable, and progressive exposures. There are people who get certain exposures, like they get exposed to things that destroy them, okay? They get exposed to ideologies that are not profitable, that are negative to their destinies. So you must be selective of the exposure that you get. You must be very, very selective. Very, very selective. So you need positive, progressive, and profitable exposure. You need those kind of exposure. All right. Now you need an exposure. You need exposure to new ideas. Now these ideas may be new ideas in your industry, new ideas in your business, new ideas in your field, new ideas in your career, new ideas. I was so delighted engaging some representative of a commission in Nigeria who visited my institution. And I started asking certain questions on preparing for the next phase, for innovation, for growth, for advancement. And I was excited to hear certain things already happening in my industry. Certain things, exceptional things happening in my industry. You must be willing to expose yourself to new ideas. Never settle to the ideas you knew or the ideas that were said by just your family people, especially when your family people are not so exposed. You must open up yourself to new ideas. And thank God for the internet. Thank God for YouTube, for podcasts. Thank God for certain platforms where you can go to and you can become aware of what is happening right now in your industry. What's happening right now in your industry? Those things you won't know them when you feed your mind with just blog news, gist, rumors, gossip. You won't get those deep ideas from there. New ideas in your industry. So, for example, you want to become a content creator. For example, you are a digital entrepreneur, or you're a digital educator. You are an online course creator. You're doing a lot of things in certain industry, or you're working in the financial space, you're working in the education space, or you're working in the tech space. Are you aware of new ideas that are evolving in your industry? Are you preparing yourself to know how to use them so that you don't fizzle out in the game? You don't go out in the game. You've been hearing about artificial intelligence. Are you aware on how you can be one that can leverage the game to build wealth for yourself? Do you understand how to build an agency with tools that could make you do more productive work, get more efficient with your tasks, and yet you don't fizzle out of the game in the next 20 years? So you need exposure to new ideas, exposure to new ideas. Um, exposure to new ideas. You need to be aware of innovation in your industry. You need exposure to people who are the masters in your industry, who are the best in your field, who are the people that when they speak, everyone wants to listen. You need to be exposed to them. You need to know them. And then you need to be exposed also to places. And this is where travel comes in. I know at a time in one of our series, what was that? Point of advantage. We talked about the advantage of travel and visiting new locations and means all of that. All right, so let me go over it again. So number one, diligence in elevating your mindset. Number two, rethinking fear and failure. Number three, strategic investment. Number four, exposure. And number five, you need high-level information and counsel. You need high-level information and counsel. Maybe this is where I will stop, even though I still have two written down here. There are seven, but I'll stop at number five. I don't know. Maybe we'll get another time to talk about the rest. Now, you need access to high-level information and counsel. Do you belong to circles where, when high-level decisions are taken in your industry, in your field, in your pursuits, in your goal, in certain things, your ambitions about fulfilling, do you belong to circles where you can get that information firsthand? Are you subscribed to certain platforms where when something is happening, like something wants to change in your industry, or they are bringing new rules in your industry, or something is going to change in your career path, you have somewhere you are subscribed to where you can get that information fast? Like you can get that information like quickly, firsthand, not like secondary. Okay, so you need high-level information and counsel, not gist, gossip, Facebook post here, this and that, but on the high level, where they can tell you, oh, this is what is coming, or this is what is happening, and 1, 2, 3 things are what you should start doing now, and 1, 2, 3 things are how you should start preparing, and 1, 2, 3 are people you need to meet in order not to become a victim in that game. Okay, so you need high-level information and counsel. Just look out in your industry, ask questions, meet top leaders, and then they will tell you and show you the way out. A lot of the decisions that control the game of life, they are not shared on social media. Some of them are not even written in books. They are shared in very close circle where you need to pay a lot of price, or where you need to position correctly in order to enter there. So that you don't focus on what is going on when you don't really know what is happening. Because there's a difference between what is going on and what is happening. So you must gain access to the circle where things really happen. Okay, so so how do you do that? Maybe you need to gain access to deliberate mentors. You need to connect to deliberate mentors or deliberate mentorship programs where you can gain access to this information as quick as possible, and you can get recommendations on how to go about it. You also need to have strategic friends. Like I told you, I have friends who are lawyers, I have friends who work in the tech space, I have friends who work in the financial sector, I have friends who I have friends in the medical sector. I have friends, I have people who are connected in the security space. All right. So you need to just have strategic friends. Don't just have a lot of friends. You need to find out what role are these people playing in my life, in my destiny, in my journey in life, and then you know how to leverage on them. Okay, then you also look out for collaborations. Maybe you want to start out in a new business. You may have the knowledge, but you have the operation capacity to go about it. Then get someone to collaborate with, maybe through equity, or you agree on terms, and then you start out those ideas. So you need to spread your wings. You need to learn certain skill. For example, um, right now I'm building a lot of competence in product marketing and product communication. I'm an educator. I host events. All right. I'm an event comparer when I have to do it. Um, Someone is saying something. Oh, awesome. Nice to have you again, Juliet. Yes, strategic friends. You need strategic friends. If you must get access to high level information, okay? So maybe you have someone who has that capacity to be able to make that happen. You connect to those individuals, you move on, and then you are able to build real businesses. Okay. So right now I am an author. I author books. You just build your structure around certain things, and then you have certain people you can leverage on. So these are things that you need to pay attention to. I've mentioned 5 out of 7: diligence in elevating your mindset, rethinking fear and failure, strategic investment, exposure, high level information, and counsel. Very important. I hope you got a lot of value. If you got value, let me see you type value in the comments. Then I'm going to share a big announcement. Let me see you share value, 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 value. Let me see you share value. Interesting, interesting, amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Value, 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 value. Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's interesting. Interesting. Thank you so, so much. All right. So I have an amazing news. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Janet. I have an amazing news. Next week, Friday, same time, 9 p.m. West African time, I'll be having a guest. All right. She's the founder of Content Bliss. Okay. Content Bliss. She's an editor. She's an author. She's a creator. All right. Someone who is doing so well in the writing space. And we'll be having a session on Write for Gold. All right. Write for Gold, how you can make so much money from writing even if you don't know how to. Okay, so how to make so much money from writing even if you don't know how to. So we'll be having that session, and I advise that you come around, you join live, as she'll be sharing a lot of amazing secrets with us. Okay, so I'll be having a session with Blessing Omoni on Write for Gold. So how you can begin to make lots of money from writing. And she's an expert in the field. She has done a lot of these things. She's cashing out big time, and she wants to come share that secret with you. So I'll be here with Blessing Omoni next week, on the session Write for Gold. All right. So you have to prepare. Make sure you share this with your friends. Share this video. I want you all to go right now. I want you all to go right now on your WhatsApp status, and after now, and just share this video. We want lots of people to come and watch this video. Okay, lots of people to come and watch this video. And also, my book, Courage, How Ordinary People Achieve Extraordinary Results, is still available on Seller for less than $1. Just type Seller, SELAR plus Abiodun Mustafa plus Courage, and then it takes you right. You'll see the link to get a copy of that book. It's available. Just make payments. You get a copy of the book, and you also get access to my bonus course, Courage Code. So you just go there and get it. So that's it. And finally, if you are not part of our Telegram community, make sure you go. Just take a screenshot of this. Sorry, I have to edit this. Hold on a sec. I have to edit this. So it's t.me/growthupafrica. So that's why I share a lot of the news updates on Growth School sessions. So t.me/growthupafrica. So if you go there, you will just join the Telegram community. So I share a lot of updates there, and you would see, you would get them. So next week we'll be having the session. So take a screenshot of this and keep it. So you can visit later. Just take a screenshot. All right. And for those who want to take my picture, maybe you want to comment and share my picture on WhatsApp. Oh yeah, take picture. Take picture. Take the picture. Oh yeah. All right. Thank you. All right. So amazing. Thank you so much. Let me know if you got value. For those of you who are on my WhatsApp contact, share with me on WhatsApp. For those of you who can share with me Facebook Messenger, I'll be there to receive what you got from this session. Do well to write your review there. I would repost and share them, okay, and make it known to people. So next week, write for gold. Don't miss it. Write for gold. Come and learn how people are cashing out. How people are cashing out big time from writing, freelance platforms, and a lot of things. And you get lots and lots and lots of news. Okay, so make sure you're around next week. Invite your friends. So when I put out the promotional material, the flyer, do well to share it on WhatsApp, on all the WhatsApp groups you belong to. Share it also on Facebook. All right. So that session will be coming up next week by 9 p.m. I trust you got value. I trust it was worth your time. I trust you were blessed. All right. Thank you so much for joining. See you when we see, same time next week.